Have you ever looked at someone in their 80s or 90s, still walking confidently, still speaking clearly, still smiling with energy, and wondered, how are they still so strong while others become weak so early? Because the truth is, long life is not luck. It is not magic. It is not expensive medicine. And it is not hidden in some secret miracle cure. It is hidden in daily habits. Right now, somewhere in the world, a 90-year-old man is waking up peacefully, walking slowly under the morning sun, eating simple food, living with clarity, while another person much younger is struggling to breathe, struggling to sleep, struggling just to get out of bed. And the difference between them is often not age. It is lifestyle. There are habits so dangerous, so silently destructive, that they slowly steal strength from the body year after year without people realizing it. Most people don't notice the damage while it's happening, because these habits don't destroy you overnight. They destroy you slowly, quietly, like rust eating metal from the inside. Doctors see it all the time. A man retires and stops moving completely. A woman isolates herself from everyone after losing loved ones. Someone spends years eating whatever they want, sleeping badly, stressing constantly, ignoring warning signs, and then one day the body finally says, enough. But there are also seniors who age differently. They avoid certain behaviors with discipline. They protect their body, protect their mind, protect their peace. And because of that, they continue living with dignity while others lose their health much earlier. In today's video, we are going to uncover 8 habits that people who live to 90 almost always avoid. Some of these habits are extremely common. Some may even be part of your daily life right now. But once you understand how dangerous they truly are, you may never look at your lifestyle the same way again. And trust me, the last habit may be the most deadly of them all, because millions of older adults are unknowingly destroying their future with it every single day. So watch this video carefully until the end, because one small change today could add years to your life tomorrow. And before we begin, if you believe health is the greatest wealth, if you want to live longer, stronger, and wiser, then like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us on this journey toward a healthier and more powerful life. Now let's begin. 1. They avoid sitting all day. There is something terrifying that happens to the human body after 60, and most people don't even realize it's happening until it's too late. It begins quietly. À personne retire. They start sitting more, walking less, resting more often. They tell themselves, I've worked hard my whole life. Now it's time to relax. But what feels like comfort in the beginning slowly becomes physical decline. Days turn into months. Months turn into years. And little by little, the body starts surrendering. The legs that once carried them everywhere begin losing strength. The back stiffens. The knees ache more often. Even standing up from a chair starts becoming difficult. Then one day, something simple changes everything. A small fall, a weak step, a loss of balance. And suddenly the person who once lived independently now needs help for basic things. This is the brutal reality many families witness. Not because the person was too old, but because the body slowly weakened from lack of movement. Doctors often say something powerful. The body ages fastest when it stops moving. And when you look around in real life, you can see it clearly. Some seniors in their late 60s already look exhausted by life. They struggle to walk, struggle with energy, struggle even with simple daily activities. But then you see another person in their 80s or even 90s, still gardening, still walking every morning, still climbing stairs slowly but confidently, still carrying life inside their body. What is the difference? Movement. People who live long understand something most people ignore. The human body was built to move. Every walk strengthens the heart. Every stretch protects the joints. Every step tells the body, stay alive, stay strong. Movement keeps blood flowing to the brain. It protects balance, protects independence, protects dignity. Because one of the saddest moments in old age is not wrinkles. It is losing the ability to take care of yourself. And many times, that decline begins the moment people completely stop moving. Even a simple daily walk can become a weapon against aging, because movement is not exercise anymore at that stage of life. Movement becomes survival. 2. They avoid chronic stress. Stress does not always destroy people loudly. Sometimes it destroys them silently, year after year, from the inside. And this becomes especially dangerous after the age of 60, because at that stage of life, the body no longer recovers the same way it once did. Yet millions of seniors wake up every day carrying invisible weight inside them. Worry about money, pain from broken family relationships, loneliness after losing loved ones, fear of sickness, regret about the past, anxiety about the future. And even though nobody can see these emotions physically, the body feels every single one of them. Stress is not just in the mind. It becomes poison in the body. Blood pressure slowly rises. Sleep becomes restless. The heart stays under constant pressure. The immune system weakens little by little. Some people look old not because of age, but because stress has been exhausting their soul for years. You may have seen this in real life. A person who was once energetic suddenly becomes quieter, weaker, emotionally drained, not because one tragedy destroyed them overnight, but because endless stress slowly stole their strength day by day. And the terrifying part is this: many seniors spend years pretending they are fine while their body silently suffers underneath. They smile in front of others, but sleep with anxiety every night. They carry pain they never speak about, and eventually, the body begins paying the price. Doctors often say chronic stress can be as dangerous as smoking, poor diet, or lack of exercise, because the human body was never designed to stay in survival mode forever. But people who live into their 80s and 90s often understand something powerful. Peace protects life. That does not mean their life was easy. Many long-living seniors survived loss, hardship, heartbreak, struggle, but they learned how to let go of what they could not control. They stopped fighting every small thing, stopped carrying unnecessary anger, stopped poisoning themselves with constant worry. They learned patience, acceptance, calmness, because eventually they realized something most people learn too late. A peaceful mind is not weakness. It is survival. And sometimes, the greatest thing you can do for your body is not another medicine, but learning how to live with less fear inside your chest. 3. They avoid overeating. There comes a point in life when the body no longer forgives the way it once did. In your 20s or 30s, you may eat anything you want: oily food, excessive sugar, heavy late-night meals, and still wake up feeling normal the next day. But after 60, the body changes. Digestion slows down, metabolism weakens, organs become more sensitive. The body cannot recover from years of unhealthy eating the same way anymore. Yet many older adults continue eating as if nothing has changed. Large portions, processed foods, sugary snacks, constant overeating out of habit, boredom, stress, or emotional comfort. And slowly, the damage begins building silently inside the body. Weight increases little by little. Blood sugar rises. Blood vessels become weaker. The heart works harder every year. And the terrifying part is this: most of this destruction happens quietly. No loud warning, no immediate pain, just slow internal damage accumulating year after year until one day the body finally collapses under the pressure. You may have seen this happen in real life. A person reaches retirement age, but instead of becoming healthier, they become more dependent on medicines every year. Diabetes, high blood pressure, fatty liver, heart disease. And often the problem was not age alone. It was decades of uncontrolled eating combined with less movement. Meanwhile, many people who live into their late 80s and 90s follow a completely different lifestyle. Their meals are usually simple: moderate portions, homemade food, less sugar, less excess. They eat slowly. They stop before becoming too full, because they understand something most people realize too late. The body after 60 is either being healed by food or harmed by it. Food is not just pleasure anymore. It becomes fuel for survival. Long-living seniors do not treat eating like entertainment. They treat it like protection, because they know one heavy, unhealthy habit repeated every single day can slowly shorten a life. And perhaps the saddest part is this: many people spend their final years unable to enjoy life freely, not because aging destroyed them, but because their own daily habits did. That is why people who live long often avoid excess, because they understand a powerful truth. Food can become medicine that strengthens your future, or poison that silently steals it away one meal at a time. 4. They avoid isolation. One of the most painful things about aging is not wrinkles, weak knees, or gray hair. It is feeling forgotten. There are millions of older adults sitting quietly inside homes every day, surrounded by silence. Children grow busy with their own lives. Friends slowly disappear. Loved ones pass away. And little by little, the world around them becomes smaller. At first, it may only feel like loneliness. But over time, loneliness becomes something much darker, because human beings were never designed to live completely alone. We are emotional creatures. We need conversation. We need laughter. We need connection. We need to feel that someone still cares, whether we exist or not. And when those emotional connections disappear, something inside many seniors slowly begins to break. You may have seen this in real life. An elderly person who once looked energetic and full of life suddenly becomes quiet, emotionally distant, exhausted, not because of a major disease, but because they slowly lost the feeling of belonging. Some seniors spend entire days without meaningful conversation. No phone call, no visitor, no emotional warmth, and eventually the silence becomes heavier than physical pain itself. Doctors and researchers have repeatedly found that chronic loneliness increases the risk of depression, memory decline, heart problems, and even early death. Because isolation does not only affect emotions, it affects the entire body. The mind becomes darker, stress increases, sleep worsens, the immune system weakens. And perhaps the saddest part is this: some people do not die because their body gave up first. They die because their spirit did. But people who live into their 80s and 90s often protect themselves differently. They stay socially connected to life. They talk to neighbors, spend time with family, laugh with friends, share stories, stay emotionally involved in the world around them. Even small moments matter. A simple conversation, a shared meal, a morning walk with someone, a grandchild's laughter. These things may seem ordinary, but for aging hearts, they can become life itself. Because feeling emotionally connected gives people a reason to keep going. And that is why many long-living seniors understand something deeply powerful. A healthy life is not built only through medicine or exercise. Sometimes it is built through human connection, because the body suffers in loneliness, but the soul suffers even more. 5. They avoid poor sleep habits. There is a silent form of self-destruction that millions of people repeat every single night without realizing how deeply it damages the body. It is the habit of neglecting sleep. Many people treat sleep as if it is optional, something unimportant, something they can sacrifice without consequences. So they stay awake late into the night, staring at screens, worrying endlessly, sleeping at random hours, carrying stress into bed every evening. And after years of this chaos, the body begins to break down quietly from the inside. Because sleep is not just rest. Sleep is repair. It is during deep sleep that the body heals damaged cells, regulates hormones, strengthens the immune system, repairs the heart and brain. But when sleep becomes poor for years, especially after the age of 60, the consequences become frightening. Memory starts weakening, mood becomes unstable, energy disappears faster, blood pressure rises, the risk of heart disease and dementia increases. And many people do not connect their declining health to the fact that their body has been deprived of proper rest for years. You may have seen this in real life. Some elderly people wake up exhausted every morning despite spending hours in bed. Their mind feels foggy. Their body feels heavy. Even small daily tasks feel draining, because the body cannot fully recover when sleep is constantly disturbed. And the terrifying truth is this: a tired body ages faster. Many seniors unknowingly spend years damaging themselves through irregular sleep habits, late-night television, endless phone scrolling, sleeping with stress-filled thoughts every night. The mind never truly rests, so the body never truly heals. But many people who live long, healthy lives follow completely different routines. They respect sleep. They sleep early, wake early, maintain consistency, create peaceful nighttime habits. Their evenings are calmer. Their body follows rhythm instead of chaos. Because they understand something powerful, the body survives through recovery. And deep sleep may be one of the strongest forms of recovery the human body has. The healthiest elderly people often live simple lifestyles, but their routines protect them. Meanwhile, modern habits slowly destroy millions of people in silence. And perhaps the saddest part is this: some people spend years searching for medicine to feel better, while their exhausted body has been begging for proper rest the entire time. Because eventually the body reaches a limit. No human being can survive years of physical and mental chaos without consequences. And people who live to 90 understand that rest is not laziness. Rest is survival. 6. They avoid neglecting their mind. Many people think aging begins with wrinkles, weak knees, or gray hair. But in reality, aging often begins in the mind first. It begins the moment a person stops growing mentally. Some people reach a certain age and slowly disconnect themselves from learning. They stop reading, stop exploring new ideas, stop challenging their thinking, stop being curious about the world. And little by little, the mind becomes quieter, slower, weaker. At first, the changes seem small: forgetting simple things, losing focus more easily, feeling mentally tired faster. But over time, mental neglect can deeply affect a person's entire quality of life. Because the brain is not designed to remain strong without stimulation. Just like muscles weaken when the body stops moving, the mind weakens when it stops being used. You may have noticed this difference in real life. Some seniors in their 70s or 80s still speak with clarity, wisdom, and sharp thinking. They remember stories vividly. They ask questions. They stay interested in life. They continue learning despite their age. Meanwhile, others become mentally disconnected much earlier, not always because of age itself, but because their minds slowly became inactive for years. Many long-living seniors protect their brain intentionally. They read books, solve puzzles, learn new skills, have meaningful conversations, stay curious about the world around them. Some even begin learning completely new things late in life. Because they understand something powerful, the brain needs exercise just as much as the body does. And perhaps the most dangerous thing a person can say is, "I'm too old to learn now." That sentence quietly shuts down growth. The moment people stop mentally engaging with life, decline often accelerates. And this is not only about memory, it is about emotional survival too. Because a strong mind helps people endure loneliness, loss, stress, and hardship during old age. It gives people purpose, perspective, mental resilience. Some seniors remain emotionally alive despite physical aging because their mind is still active and engaged with life itself, while others slowly fade emotionally because they stopped mentally participating in the world around them. And perhaps that is the deeper truth many people ignore. Aging is not only about keeping the body alive, it is about keeping the mind alive too. Because when curiosity dies, a part of the human spirit dies with it. 7. They avoid ignoring warning signs. One of the most dangerous habits many older adults develop is pretending nothing is wrong. The body begins giving warning signs, but they ignore them. A little chest discomfort, shortness of breath while walking, constant fatigue, dizziness, vision changes, pain that keeps returning again and again. But instead of paying attention, many people say the same words: "It's just old age." And those words become deadly, because sometimes what looks small in the beginning becomes life-threatening later. The human body rarely collapses without warning. Before serious illness appears, the body usually whispers first. But many people refuse to listen during that stage. They avoid checkups, delay doctor visits, hide symptoms, convince themselves everything will somehow disappear on its own. And while they continue ignoring the signs, the damage silently grows deeper inside. You may have seen heartbreaking situations like this in real life. Someone ignores chest pain for months until a heart attack suddenly changes everything. Another person notices memory problems, weakness, or unusual fatigue, but never takes it seriously until the condition becomes severe. And often families are left saying, "If only we had caught it earlier." That is the tragedy of delayed action. Small problems are often manageable in the beginning, but when ignored too long, they become dangerous. People who live into their 80s and 90s usually understand something powerful. Pay attention early. They do not wait for complete collapse before caring about their health. They notice changes in their body. They go for regular checkups. They make lifestyle changes before the damage becomes irreversible. Because wisdom in old age is not pretending to be invincible. Wisdom is recognizing vulnerability before it becomes disaster. And perhaps pride is one of the biggest reasons many people suffer unnecessarily. Some older adults do not want to bother anyone. Others fear hearing bad news. Some simply hope the problem will go away if ignored long enough. But the body does not reward denial. The body keeps score. And the frightening truth is this: by the time pain becomes unbearable, the damage may already be advanced. That is why people who age well often develop one important habit. They listen carefully to their body, because the body speaks long before it screams. A little fatigue can become collapse. A small blockage can become a stroke. A tiny symptom can become a life-changing condition. Wise people understand this early. They do not panic over every small thing, but they also do not ignore repeated warning signs. Because sometimes the difference between recovery and tragedy is simply paying attention soon enough. 8. They avoid losing purpose in life. This may be the most important reason some people remain alive in their 80s and 90s, while others begin fading much earlier. It is purpose. Because many people do not realize this, a person can survive physically and still slowly die emotionally. This often happens after retirement. For decades, people wake up with responsibility, work to do, people to care for, a reason to keep moving. Then suddenly one day, everything changes. The routine disappears. The phone rings less. The children become busy with their own lives. And many older adults quietly begin asking themselves a painful question: what am I needed for now? And when a person loses the feeling of purpose, decline often begins. Not immediately, but slowly. They lose excitement, lose motivation, lose energy. Even waking up in the morning starts feeling empty. You may have seen this happen in real life. Some people retire, and within a few years, they seem to age dramatically. Not because their body suddenly failed, but because something inside them stopped burning. The human spirit needs meaning. Without it, life starts feeling emotionally heavy. And perhaps this is why some seniors become physically weaker after losing a spouse, leaving work, or becoming isolated. Because pain is easier to survive when a person still has a reason to keep going. But many people who live into their late 80s and 90s continue holding on to something meaningful. Maybe it is caring for a garden every morning. Maybe teaching wisdom to grandchildren. Maybe prayer. Maybe helping neighbors. Maybe feeding birds outside the house. Maybe simply watching the sunrise each morning with gratitude for another day of life. To others, these things may seem small, but to the human soul, they are powerful. Because purpose creates emotional energy. It gives people a reason to move, think, smile, and continue participating in life. And that energy affects the entire body. People who still feel emotionally connected to life often remain mentally sharper, more active, and more resilient during old age. Meanwhile, people who emotionally give up often begin declining much faster. This is why purpose is not just motivation. Purpose is survival. And perhaps the saddest form of aging is not growing old physically. It is feeling like life no longer needs you. But the seniors who remain vibrant deep into old age usually protect something very carefully: their sense of meaning. They continue finding beauty in ordinary days, continue caring about something beyond themselves, continue waking up with intention. Because as long as a person still feels connected to life, a powerful part of them remains young inside. As we conclude, growing old is unavoidable, but destroying yourself early is not. The habits you repeat every day are shaping your future body right now. Every walk matters. Every meal matters. Every night of sleep matters. Every stressful thought matters. And the truth is, longevity is not only about living longer. It is about living stronger, living with dignity, clarity, energy, peace. So ask yourself honestly, which of these habits are silently stealing your future? And which changes can you begin today? Because one day, your future self will either thank you or suffer because of the decisions you make now. If this video opened your eyes, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you care about. Because sometimes, the right information at the right time can save a life. And remember, the goal is not just to reach old age. The goal is to arrive there strong,